Right. So I'm here in Europe. Lovely. Love it. Um, Smoking cigarettes and public drinking is quite prevalent here. I guess it's a culture thing. But I want you to know that because I used to smoke and drink alcohol. Okay. And, look, maybe 20 years ago, if I came to a place like this, I would have loved it. Right. Because it's just like you can go and you feel free because you get to do these things and you have the freedom to do these things, right? But just because you can do something, I want you to just to understand that like maybe it's not the best thing for you, not because of the health reasons, okay? But because you see, when you don't smoke and you don't drink alcohol, right? Like you're like this with your mood swings, okay? But if you start drinking and smoking, when you're in the habit at the right time, you're like up here. You're way up high, and you feel this great high, right? And it comes out, right? It's great. But then as soon as it leaves you don't go back here. You go down here, right? It's just like it's the same thing with just sugar, isn't it? And so somebody who smokes and drinks off and on all the time, like they're just like this all the time, and it's exhausting. And I know it's exhausting because I've been there. Okay, and you're probably going to spend, well, not for smoking, but hopefully with drinking, you're spending more time not drinking than you would be drinking. And so that means then is that, if you're drinking like every day, like, or every night, evening, maybe too much, that means that the following day, you're just going to be like down here the whole day, right? And then with the smoking, it's not even that just the chemical changes within that make you feel bad. It's just the plumbing, right? Yeah, you got plumbing problems in the morning, and you got plumbing problems in the afternoon, in the evening, and you're always like first thing in the morning you need a coffee just to help move stuff, okay? So you can kind of feel normal, and so those habits and the spitting, all that stuff, it just brings you down, and so. It's just something I want everybody to be aware of because I've been there and it does bring you down. And then the way you get back up again is, you either have the cigarette, you drink the alcohol, right? It gets you back up, but the crash is hard. And, it's something to be aware of because if you are looking around in the world and you're feeling pretty down in the dumps about the way that things are, in your situation or the world, at large, you got to understand too that it could just be your perspective being influenced quite substantially by two negative habits, right? Because, you can say you feel a certain way about something, but it's very hard to sometimes understand that feeling is not being misdirected or compounded by the way you feel because of something else that's negative going on within you, right? So if that makes any sense, I think it makes sense. Does that make sense? Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah. Because if you feel shitty, you just feel shitty. And when you feel shitty, everything's kind of shit, right? So yeah, drinking alcohol all the time, smoking cigarettes, going to make you feel shitty. It'll make you feel great too, but you're going to spend more time feeling shitty than you would feeling great. That's the truth. Anyways, I've got bad habits still too. I'm drinking Coke, zero. Like, I should be drinking water. And I know that seems like probably like nothing compared to drinking alcohol and cigarettes, but it's still something. I'm not perfect by any means. But, I just wanted you guys to know that, you can feel so much better by giving up drinking alcohol. And I think what that does is it keeps your vibration. It gets you into a much, if you're wanting to have a spiritual awakening or trying to increase your odds of having one, you're going to have to kick the habits that are going to keep you feeling weighted in life. And I don't know what the costs are of these things here. I think smoking's much cheaper in Europe, but alcohol, I'm sure, is expensive. And this is all money that could be going elsewhere. Anyways, it's all much easier said than done, because I know, I've been there. It's hard. Getting to know God, that helped me big time. I wouldn't have been able to do it without my relationship with God. So, anyways, I'm not sure this really offers you any help, but I just wanted you guys to know, though, that because giving up these habits is hard, okay? Let's be honest. Really hard. And most people don't want to give up these habits. But nevertheless, though, I'm going to tell you that if you do, you'll be pleasantly surprised at how much better you feel about everything and life in general all the time. Everything gets easier. Getting up in the morning gets easier. Enjoying life gets easier. Your perspective on being more positive attitude towards things gets easier. It's all, it is literally no different than when you're sick, how do you feel about things? And when you're over a bad cold, how do you feel about things? It's the exact same thing, right? And the other profound realization that I've come to understand is that, reality is very convincing, but ultimately the only thing that you can say for certainty that exists is the way that you feel about things. Your feelings are the most realistic thing that you have, because your eyes will lie to you, right? It's all about perspective, right? Somebody goes on a nice vacation, right? If you've got a lot of shit going on at work, versus somebody who doesn't have a lot of shit going on at work, you end up going to the same destination, but you're going to perceive that experience differently. So ultimately, your feelings are really all that you have in terms of experiencing your reality. And if you're not doing this day to day because you're doing this with drinking and smoking, well, and you're spending most of your time down here, your reality is not going to be, it's not going to be the best that it could be. So, anyways, I guess that's everything I had to say. Talk to you later.